Chapter 35. In the Paws of Pirates. Nothing pisses me off more than a mammal taking advantage of another, especially when it's one of my friends. While the mayor didn't look like she had been abused by the paws of her captors, I could still tell that it had not been a pleasant experience. Her face remained stern, her posture strong, but her eyes, they were the ones that gave it away. I've known fear, and it was always the eyes that portrayed it the most. How did they capture you? I didn't want to move far from here until I got word back from my friends. But what was taking them so long? It was stupid of me. A few hours after you had left, I had gotten word that you had returned and were badly injured. I sent Williams to get you and bring you back to Dr. Bowl. But that's when I heard the gunfire. We thought Hope was under attack. Everything happened so fast. I foolishly went to find you, to try and bring you back to the town, and then I was captured. Emotion was starting to break through her rigid visage, and I saw tears falling from one of her eyes. It's okay, Mayor. We're here for you, and I'll do whatever it takes to bring you back safe. It's Hope that I'm worried about. What if they hurt someone? Then I'll make sure they never hurt anyone again.
Those ass twats will never see us coming. Hey, Jezzy, long time.
Blanche? How did... The mayor wiped her eyes as she gave me a small smirk. You really know how to pick them, don't you, Olivia? Trust me, this isn't even the half of it. Now, why the hell hasn't anyone responded to my... And then I remembered. Fuck, I forgot they had some kind of signal blocker. Unless we can find it or another way to signal to them, we're on our own. You don't by chance know how many are on this ship, do you, Mayor? I was blindfolded the entire time, until they locked me up here. Well, time to guess. I activated the sensor and checked how many dots there were. Minus the 3 of us, I counted at least 20. That was a bit more than I'd thought. I used the stealth board to get onto the ship, but I couldn't use it on me and the mayor, so we had to take it slow. Something I doubt Blanche was capable of. I do admit I would just love to kill everyone here for what they did, but the mayor's safety was first and foremost. Well, looks like there's at least 20, maybe more.
I can take them all with my tail tied behind my back.
Yeah, no. We need to use tact and discretion. We need to... Where the hell'd she go? I looked around and Blanche was gone. I caught movement right out of the corner of my eye just as I saw her turn down the hall we came from. Fuck, she's gonna get us all killed. I primed my gun. Keep close, Mayor, and do everything I say, okay? Yes, Miss Springs. She should have sounded happy to be rescued, but her voice was still very solemn. She was probably concerned about Hope. And please, call me Olivia. You may technically be my boss back in Hope, but out here we're friends. All right. How, may I ask, did you run into Blanche? Long story. One that I'll be glad to tell you once we're out of here. Now keep your head down, eyes open, and mouth closed. I have a feeling that Blanche is going to make our escape much more difficult. We left the cell and moved past the bodies. I had an urge to pick up the small rifle, but it took me forever just to learn how to use my pistol, and I didn't have time to learn that. One of these days I should have Holly teach me more about the different types of weapons out here. From the sound of it, she's quite the gun lover. There was still no sign of Blanche, but she had to be around here someplace. We entered the room with the paintings and saw our first sign of her. The body of a bear was lying on the ground, blood pooling around its head. She was able to take on a bear by herself? I looked back at the mayor, but she didn't seem to have the same reaction that I was having. Either she was still thinking about her town, or she knew of Blanche's abilities. Either way, it wasn't very comforting. Well, at least she's on our side. I heard a commotion outside the door and peeked out. Mammals were running everywhere, shouting about a ghost. I saw at least 2 more bodies on the deck, all of them with the same injury. Maybe she could take them all by herself. I heard very loud but squeaky swearing. Well, sounds like she was in trouble. Wait here, Mayor. Try to find some place to hide. I'll be back for you. I promise. Please, be safe, Olivia. I didn't say anything, just gave her a big, forced smile. Even if Blanche took out a few more that I didn't know about, that left at least a dozen more tidebreakers to have to worry about, and that was just the ones on this boat. When the others got back from chasing the unmammaled boat, I'm sure that number would double. I activated my stealth bore and ran out to where I heard Blanche. A large rhino had a foot resting on some sort of cage, and inside of it was Blanche. I saw her trying to squeeze between two of the bars, but she just wasn't able to. No one had spotted the ghostly shimmer yet, so I needed to play my cards just right.
Little mouse want out? I don't know where you came from, or how you managed to kill 3 of us in such a short time, but you're mine now. Maybe I'll use your hide as a condom while I fuck that gazelle to death. That's why you're here, isn't it? To rescue her.
Don't you fucking call me little, you ass twat! I'll chop off that dick of yours and kill you where you stand.
I'd like to see you try.
Oh, that fucker is going to die. During his little speech, I managed to get closer to him. The stealth board didn't have much time left, and all I needed was one chance. I moved behind him. No one had seen me. Good. I held the handle of my pistol firmly as I jumped up onto the back of the rhino and held myself there.
What the fuck?
I pressed the barrel of my gun against the back of his head and pulled the trigger. The bullet simply tore through the back of his head, silencing him forever. I saw the shimmer of the stealth bore fade as the rhino started to fall forward. I jumped off him and landed next to the cage containing Blanche. Okay, you fuckers. If you don't let us leave peacefully, none of you are going to make it out of here alive.
That crazy rabbit killed the boss.
That was their leader? He didn't seem so tough to me. Then again, I did get him by surprise. But you know what they say, the bigger you are, the harder you fall. And he fell like a brick. After freeing Blanche, I stepped onto the dead rhino and held my gun at everyone. I felt Blanche scurry up my body and come to rest on my shoulder.
Nice one. That ass twat had it coming. But couldn't you have saved him for me?
When were you gonna kill him, before or after he skinned your hide?
What are you waiting for, Jimmy? Fucking blaster!
I followed where the raider was looking, right up to the machine gun that was mounted on the roof of the cabin. It was pointed right at us. This is not going as planned. Didn't someone once say that cut off the head and the body dies? I blew off the head of their boss, but the body sure as hell ain't dying. The gun started to spray bullets at us. The rhino was large enough that I jumped behind it and used him as a shield. I felt the impacts of each bullet starting to tear through the corpse. This was not going to last long. I need 30 more seconds and I can stealth out of here. You think this will hold?
No, it won't hold another fucking 30 seconds, ass twat. We need to kill them before they kill us.
Was her solution to simply kill everyone? I'm definitely regretting bringing her along. I may like the thrill of a fight, and sure, I have killed out of anger and rage, in simple necessity. But if I can find a way out without killing anyone, I always try to take that exit. That fucking rhino did have it coming, though. That gun can't point straight down. If we can make it to the cabin, we'll be safe from it.
And what about all the other ass twats, ass twat?
Stop fucking calling me an ass twat, you ass twat. I didn't have time to think of a swear at the moment. I wasn't even going to ask if she was ready. I simply took off as a few bullets started to make their way through the body, hitting the surface just beneath us. Just as I figured. Once we got to the wall of the cabin, the machine gun fire stopped. I had another few seconds before the stealth bore was able to activate, but I already saw other pirates charging at me, guns and swords raised. One of them tossed a very large axe at me, but I was able to dodge it as it embedded itself in the wall. I tried to pull it out thinking a melee weapon might be useful, but it was really stuck in there. Damn, that fucker was strong. The sounds of rifles started to go off as they got closer, and the axe thrower was chucking more at me. This is a fine mess you got me into, Blanche.
You didn't have to come rescue me either, ass twat. You should have just taken Jesse and left.
I'm not gonna fucking abandon anyone, even if they're a reckless, dangerous fucker like yourself. I don't know when it turned into a swear-off, but we were nearly as busy cussing at each other as we were dodging weapons fire. I felt one of the axes skim my back, cutting enough to send a sharp pain up my spine. Alright, that's it. Pit Boar, kill. It had been a long time since I last used bats, and as the serum entered my body, causing everything to slow, I realized that I had missed this sensation. A lot. I wasted no time in drawing my gun and firing at the axe thrower, not even checking my chances to hit. With increased accuracy and heightened senses, my bullet hit him right between the eyes. He dropped dead in an instant. Not wanting to let the rest of it go to waste, I managed to take down 2 more of my attackers just as fast. And then I noticed something. Blanche had left my shoulder, and while everything seemed slower, she still moved fast. I saw her run up to a tiger and quickly move up his leg onto his chest, before finally reaching his neck. He was busy trying to shoot me, and I don't even think he knew she was there. She took not 1, not 2, but all 3 of her swords and sliced open his neck before jumping off and moving to the next target. She was vicious. I managed to take out 1 more of the pirates by the time the chemicals wore off, but there were still too many. They must have signaled for help somehow because I saw a bunch of mammals coming over the side of the ship. We had to do something. I needed to signal the others and let them know what was going on. If only I could find the source of the signal blocker, I could destroy it or deactivate it and get in touch with them. That's when it hit me. I should say, almost hit me. The body of a coyote landed next to me. I looked up to see where he came from when I saw Mayor Swift hanging out of a window. How did she... I got the jammer taken care of. She did? I turned on my radio to Onion's frequency. Hello? Anyone reading this? Miss, you're okay. We couldn't get in touch with you and we were getting worried. There was a jammer blocking my message, but it's off now. We got the mayor, but we're in trouble. I heard silence for a moment before Onion came back on. Miss, the others are on their way. Finally, things were starting to look up. Gunfire in my direction ended up cutting my personal victory party short, as I remembered that there were still mammals trying to kill us. I had no idea where Blanche ran off to, and I couldn't stray too far from here without the machine gun trying to kill me, so I had to think. I decided the best thing to do was get a better idea of the current situation by activating my stealth boar and heading towards the mammals that were shooting at me.
Where'd she go?
That cunt must have a stealth boar. Shoot anything that looks suspicious.
Guess the jig's up. Still, they can't shoot what they can't see. There were at least 8 mammals that I could see, and I saw Blanche over near the edge of the boat. She wasn't moving so fast. She was probably exhausting herself. But I have a feeling that she's not the type to admit that. She kept trying to jump up onto her assailants, but they simply swatted her away. I had to help. Pit Boar, kill. Once the serum was in full effect, I took aim at the closest of the 3. A hole formed at the back of his head as he fell to the ground. The other 2 started to react to the sudden death of their companion, but I was faster. I took a shot but missed as a pirate bent down to pick up something. He was dangerously close to the edge, so I decided to use that. I took a shot at his leg, causing it to buckle. He tried to stabilize himself, but reached for air as he fell over the side of the boat. I went to shoot the last one, but my gun only clicked. Fuck, I was out of ammo. I went to change my magazine as the serum wore off, but the wolf started to charge me. He was pissed, and was gaining ground faster than I could reload my gun. He was almost upon me when a shadow passed by, plucking the wolf from the ship. Drake had arrived.
Livy!
I looked behind me to see Holly, armed to the teeth, taking shots at anything that moved. She was mostly paying attention to me while it looked like she was firing blindly, but all of her bullets made contact with the pirate. She ran over and dropped her guns and gave me a quick hug before picking them up again. Holly, where are the others? Drake dropped me off, but the others will be here shortly. Where's the mayor? I'm here, and I have company. Mayor Swift came running out of a door being chased by 2 badgers. They were both armed with very large knives, but the mayor was able to keep ahead of them, but only slightly. I tried to aim at the two pursuers, but the mare was running so erratically she kept blocking my view. Drake! He flew over to me and I pointed towards the mare. I wanted him to grab her so that we could get a clean shot at the badgers. But I guess calling his name wasn't really laying out a plan because instead he simply grabbed the badgers and dropped them into the water below. Well, that works too. Drake landed next to me and Holly. The mare didn't react the way I thought she would, but I could still see the fear, or at least concern, in her eyes. Did you... Let me guess. The other half of it? You guessed it. Drake, Mayor Swift. Now let's finish this rescue operation. A loud roaring noise came from the side of the boat. I ran over to the edge while grabbing the now heavily panting Blanche and putting her on my shoulder as I looked out. There were at least 24 tidebreakers heading towards us. How the hell did they have that many boats? Machine gun fire reminded me that we still had a mounted gun above us. I went to fire back, but instead Holly just casually tossed a grenade over her shoulder. A loud explosion silenced the gunner, along with the gun. Did you just... Yep. She said it so casually, too. That's a lot of tidebreakers. More than I think we could handle. They really need to make a smaller missile launcher. Those things are just so damned heavy to lug around everywhere. If we survive this, how about I build you your own personal rocket launching robot? Really? That'd be so cool! I was about to remark on that comment when suddenly one of the incoming ships exploded. The sound of engines roaring overhead as I saw 3 Guardian aircraft begin strafing the boats, firing missiles and machine guns. Half of the boats tried to escape while the other half tried to fire back. But without the support of this ship, they were as good as dead. A 4th aircraft floated down in front of us. The door slid open and there was Stalker Logan. Need a lift? Logan helped the mayor and Holly into the ship, but as I grabbed his paw to climb in, I felt a sharp pain hit my leg. Holly quickly turned towards the source of the pain and fired some shots. Logan tried to catch me, but he missed as I plummeted into the waters below. The second I hit the water, my Pip-Boar's radiation detector went nuts. I did my best to keep my head above the water, not wanting to risk swallowing any of it, but the pain in my leg was starting to make it hard. A shadow fell upon me as Drake pulled me from the water. He set me back on the boat while Logan and Holly grabbed me and moved me into the aircraft. Are you alright, Livy? I feel... my leg hurts. I also think I'm gonna be sick. It's just a little radiation poisoning. It'll... I threw up out of the aircraft. I really started to feel ill. All those rads in such a short time was a major shock to my system. Not being able to eat much was also not helping as I started to dry heave. We need to get her back to HQ, immediately. Drake, you coming?
Drake, fly. No, fly.
He wants to... I could barely speak. Every time I opened my mouth, a lot more than words wanted to come out. Don't worry. We radioed HQ when the comm ray came back online and briefed Laszlo of the situation. Thank you. Don't speak, Livy. Logan, get us there now. Nate. He, Mark, and Onion are on another tack. They were coming to get you when the operator spotted the other boats. They'll meet us there. Hang in there, Livy. I didn't think there was anything left in my system to eject, but the sudden jolts of the aircraft moving showed me otherwise as I vomited out the aircraft again. My stomach was burning, and now my head was starting to hurt. This was going to be a long ride. I had stopped wanting to throw up by the time we got to the Guardian's base, but my head was in full-on migraine mode. Every single light I saw caused it to throb with pain. And every time I tried to move, the entire world started to spin. I hope I wasn't dying. I had so much to do. But then again, if I died, there would be no reason for the Legionaries to hurt anyone. But if I died, what would happen to Nate? Get her into the decontamination room immediately. We need to purge her system before the radiation impacts her internal organs. I had to close my eyes to block out the pain the lights were causing. I couldn't move, I could barely think. I felt horrible. And to think all it took was a few seconds of irradiated water. I'm never going back to that place again. Fuck dark water and fuck radiation. I felt something get slipped over my face as I tried to open my eyes. The light was much dimmer, but it still hurt my head. I saw a bunch of mammals surrounding me, all dressed in white gowns as I watched them strip off my clothes and jab me with needles. I was breathing very heavily from whatever it was on my face, but I was still breathing. I was also getting tired. So very tired. I closed my eyes. Livy? You awake, Livy? Holly? I tried to open my eyes, but they felt so very heavy. I tried to lift my arms, but they felt like they were being weighed down as well. My breathing was hard as if my chest was made of stone. But I was still alive, I think. I tried my eyes again and managed to get them open. I couldn't see much. My vision was very out of focus. I tried to see where the voice came from, but all I could see were outlines. Holly, where are you? I'm right here, Livy, and so are Nate and Mark. Is everyone okay? Yeah, we all made it back alive. Mayor Swift is resting and Blanche is with her. Drake is in the Guardian's garage. For some reason they didn't want to give him free run of the place. But Drake was just happy to find some place to hang. Onion's around here somewhere. I think he might have shorted himself worrying about you. We all were worried. But the doctors say you'll be fine. I felt a paw touch mine. At first I thought it might have been Holly's since she was the one speaking. But it felt familiar. It felt nice. Nate? I'm right here, Olivia. He wouldn't leave your side either, Livy. Although I did have to force him out when they were dressing you. Ain't that right, Pufftail? I didn't look. I promise. My vision was finally coming back as the faces of my friends became clearer. Holly and Mark were standing near the bed while Nate was standing the closest, his paw holding mine. I felt myself smile. I'm glad they were all right. Hey, Nate? Remember that promise? I saw that my arm was partially immobilized due to a bunch of small tubes jutting from it. But I had just enough freedom to reach up and grab Nate by his shirt, pulling him down so that his face was right in front of mine. Thank you for watching over me. And then I kissed him. I don't know if it was whatever drugs were running through my system keeping the pain at bay, or if I'd finally just found the courage to do it. But it felt like the kiss lasted forever, and I didn't want it to stop. Miss Springs, a word if you... Oh, I can come back later if you want. Nate jumped backwards, my paw still grabbing his shirt. It caused the tubes to be wrenched from my arm, and despite any pain relievers in my body, it didn't help to stop this new pain. Fuck! You alright, Livy? Nate, why'd you have to go and hurt her? It was an accident. The doctor quickly ran over and injected me with something that started to dull the pain. Nate looked horrified at what he did, but I did my best to smile in order to reassure him that it was okay. Rather than try and stick the tubes back into my arm, the doctor instead just put some kind of cream on the wounds and bandaged them up. After about 15 minutes of patching me up, I was starting to feel better. Alright, Miss Springs, I have some news that I need to share with you. It would be best if I told this to you in private. He looked over at Holly, Mark, and Nate as he said that. No, anything you have to say, you can say in front of them. Well, if the patient doesn't care about her own confidentiality, then who am I to argue? Now, your entire body was exposed to a massive amount of radiation, and this can cause potential hazards. Ghoulification, mutation, death. But thankfully you're not only alive, but not a ghoul either. That leaves us with the other side effect of the radiation. Don't tell me I'm gonna grow an extra limb. Relax, it's not that kind of mutation. Plus, that's very rare, and usually the patient dies before it gets too bad. We had to run a deep genetic scan to make sure that the radiation didn't negatively affect your genetic structure. The most common cases of radiation poisoning is a weakened immune system, lethargy in the muscle mass, and brain damage. Rest assured that none of those are the case for you. Then why all the secrecy about it? You are a special case. We had to run the test 3 times to confirm our findings. While there seems to be no harmful repercussions of the discovery, quite the opposite. There seems to be benefits occurring due to this finding. Your genetic structure has been modified to include...
Damn it, man, I'm a mechanic, not a doctor. Get to the point!
Miss Springs, it appears that you are part... fox?